Hi guys, Society of Wine Educators. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc and our take on that, and specifically I guess this beautiful Marlborough region where we get to make wine. My name is Anna Flowerday and I am co-owner and co-winemaker at Te Whare Wines here in Marlborough, New Zealand, with my Kiwi winemaker husband Jason. So Te Whare, the name of the winery, it's a Maori name and it means the house in the sun. So Te Whare means the house and Ra is the Māori word for sun. Little trick for remembering how to say the name, WH together in Maori is pronounced like an F, so you can call it too far away as a little trick to remember the Te Whare. So our winery is one of the oldest in the region but also one of the smallest. The original property here was planted in 1979. And we have vines that date back to that age. The first vintage here was in 1982, and that did include actually Sauvignon Blanc, but not from the property. So my husband and I bought the vineyard nearly 16 years ago. We're both winemakers and both grew up with family vineyards, but I'm Australian and Jason's a Kiwi. But we're really looking for a place to kind of be able to do our own thing and sort of really focusing on the small high-end version of Marlborough, and we felt like Te Whare ticked all of those boxes. So yeah, David's got a lot of background and bio info for those of you who want to know more about us, or feel free to connect with us on social media or heaps of info on the website. So I'm talking to you about, I guess, our journey with Sauvignon Blanc, and yeah, I think it's a really exciting variety. I mean, hey, it's what brought me here. It's I think we're at a really good phase now with a lot of diversity across the styles. There's people making wines from different sub-regions in Marlborough. There's a lot of stylistic diversity and it's in a really exciting phase. But I think for me, even to be here talking to you sort of shows actually what Marlborough's achieved. There's nowhere else that's really become so famous so fast. And it was a bit of a lucky accident of a variety in a place that just clicked and worked and was so distinctively different and exciting. And I think it just shows everything that's amazing about New Zealand. Fruit purity, luminosity, you know, the wines are really exciting and engaging, and that's what kind of captured the world's attention and got Marlborough to where it is today. So here at Te Whare, we make two different styles, and the first one I want to talk to you about is our single vineyard Sauvignon Blanc. So the whole property here, both our vineyard and our winery, are certified organic, and we've been farming organically since around 2007, 2008, and we've been fully certified organic since 2012. And I guess organics, you know, it's a bit of a journey, and I think there's a lot of interest in that as a way of farming. But really, it's old school. You know, we've gone back to farming our vineyard the same way my granddad did. We use a lot of the same techniques, a lot more science now, I guess, to back it up and sort of be able to fine-tune things. But really, it's, yeah, I often refer to it as old school farming. We're doing a lot of the same things. We just kind of forgot how to do them for about 50 years in the middle. So we're certified organic with BioGrow New Zealand, who's the main certifying agency in New Zealand, especially if you want to export as organic. And I guess it's more about what we don't do that's different than what we do that's different. And I guess what that means is we're not using any herbicide, we don't use any chemical pesticides, we don't use any systemic fungicides. We're using natural and biological solutions and controls, so we use compost and cover crops. You might be able to hear our cows mooing in the background. We use them on our property as well for some fertilizer, and also we use the cow manure in our compost. Yeah, it's, you know, it's a natural pest and disease control, and really encouraging the vines to have sort of some inner resilience. But like I said, there is a lot of science to it now, and I think that's the really pleasing thing for me to see, that we're not kind of crazy tree-hugging hippies. It's a legitimate way, and I think New Zealand, there's an increasing amount of move towards organics here. We're currently only at about 10 to 12% of the overall land area, but if you look at the sort of New Zealand's top end producers, and you can get some info on that from Organic Wine Growers of New Zealand, of which we're a member, you'll find about 40 or 50% of the, you know, smaller high-end producers are organic. But yeah, I wanted to talk about how that applies to Sauvignon Blanc, and I guess it's the same philosophy with a lot of other things. I feel like to coax the best out of it, you really need to give it your best and give it every opportunity to create something pretty amazing. So from the home block here, we make our single vineyard Sauvignon Blanc, and this is Sauvignon Blanc cropped at a Pinot Noir cropping level, and then very meticulous in the vineyard, a lot of extra canopy management. Besides being low cropping, it's all shoot thinned, it's all bunch thinned. you know, you probably touch this vine about 20 times during the growing season. We have a lot more open canopies because we really want this to be quite a ripe, really textural style, and I really want a lot of fruit weight in it, but I don't want that to come from artifice. It is all barrel fermented, but there's no new oak in this at all. We really wanted the oak to be sort of the delivery vehicle and the thing to kind of amplify that fruit purity and fruit weight, but not to kind of cloud it too much. So I'd sort of refer to this a little bit like acoustic Sauvignon Blanc. And there's a lot of this kind of style happening. There's a lot of barrel fermented styles. It's a really interesting part of sort of where Sauvignon Blanc is developing in New Zealand. So you keep an eye out for these. It's not just about, I guess, just classic kind of tank fermented style. There's a lot of people experimenting with single vineyard Sauvignon Blancs, different sub-regions, different techniques with varying bits of barrel, and some really exciting things happening in this kind of category. The next one I want to talk to you about is our Whare Sauvignon Blanc. And this is our classic style, and I guess our sort of, not mainstream, that sounds wrong, but yeah, our classic Marlborough. So, and this one's a little bit interesting because Whare as a property is a little bit unique in the context of Sauvignon Blanc. Because like I said, it's one of the earliest properties established in Marlborough, really one of the first 2 or 3 wineries here. And yet, when we took over the property in 2003, no Sauvignon Blanc planted. So we thought, you know, that's a real opportunity. I think I am the eternal optimist. The glass is always half full, not a half empty. And thought, well, of course we're going to make Sauvignon Blanc, but where's that going to come from? And I think one of the next chapters in Sauvignon Blanc, especially looking into the more premium sort of higher end version, is this interest in sub-regionality. And we're seeing some really strong sub-regional differences come through as part of Greater Marlborough. So I'll give you my 1-minute version of the geography of Marlborough using this map. So this is Marlborough from the air. You've got the Whare Valley here, which is surrounded on 3 sides, Richmond Ranges, Nelson Lakes up this way, and then on this side, which is over here, we've got the Wither Hills and the Blanc Range. On the other side of those, you've got the other main sub-region, which is the Awatiri Valley, and this is where our grower is. It's quite a bit cooler out here, a little bit drier, and basically slower, cooler ripening. And then we've got what we call the Southern Valleys or Southern Clays, which are these small side valleys off the side of the Whare Valley. So 3 main sub-regions, but there are distinctively differences in that. Some of it's microclimate, some of it's soil type, but yeah, some really exciting, I think, changes and sort of like the next chapter of Marlborough and Sauvignon Blanc is looking at sub-regionality. We really like a combo of these two for our main style. So about 20 or 30% of this is off our home block here. And although we're in the Whare, we're on the southern edge of it, where we start to see the southern clays. And that means the wines have really good texture and weight from the clay. They're really fleshy, textural, quite tropical styles of Sauvignon. The grower's vineyard in the cooler Awatiri, it's about a 40-minute drive away out there, and they ripen about 3 or 4 weeks behind us. So what I love about that region is you get this really lovely, sort of restrained, more floral, citrusy style of Sauvignon that has more like an elderflower, currant, even lemongrass kind of character. But especially lovely ripe acidity. And I guess what I really want is I want to make delicious Sauvignon Blanc. That's its whole purpose. So what we're trying to do with that is a focus on just some really careful site selection, a couple of very special sites, and then really honouring that in the winery with fairly minimal intervention. So the grower's vineyard is sustainable certified. Our home block here is organic certified, and it's a combo of those two. We also use a little bit of barrel fermentation in this wine as well, normally about 8 to 10%. I don't want it to be at all obvious. It's really just there for an interesting kind of textural layer and really looking for a bit of flavour diversity and that kind of thing from the different sites. So I guess that's my take on it. It's a variety I'm really excited about, and if anyone's got any questions later on, I'm happy to take those by email. David's got all of our social media contacts, and as I said, the web information's on there as well too. And again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. Cheers.